Well, folks, how y'all doing today? Oh, I'm pretty sacked and tired. It had a snap freeze under a certain temperature, and yeah, that means that I have to put this plastic covers over my potted plants that are out now, and very hot water and so forth, and right, but you know, and nothing will kill me. I've missed more sleep in my life. Yeah, it's just one of those things. You know, I'll just sleep during the day today. But I've been thinking about these grooming gangs, and it can't just be in the UK. France has to have them too, and so would Belgium. Germany would by now. Italy, parts of Spain. What they call grooming gangs is just kind of normal pack male Muslim behavior. I mean, I don't, you know. And in fact, actually, usually these guys are kind of the ones that didn't make the cut to get the five wives, right? So they're the ones down smoking the hash, snorting speed, and all this, doing heroin and whatnot, right? Now that's on the average. That's how it works in the Muslim world. It's, um, it's one of those things that doesn't officially exist, like right now in Syria, nobody's getting jacked up on speed officially. But yeah, they are, right? They have capsules. I even know the name if I thought about capsule or capsulon or something, and they crush them up and smoke them in cigarettes with, that look like hash and tobacco mixed too, They seem to get pretty lit up on it. I don't know, but right? And this is epidemic. And so just imagine all these packy men, right? And oh, that's right, I can say packy. You people in the UK, you'll go to jail for that. But I can still say that here in the diminishing freedom of the West called America. But anyway, to not stray too far. So you have all these men, these Muslims. They come to the first world, They can now get painkillers, man. They don't got to dink around with low grade opium anymore. They can get every kind of synthetic drug known to man, uppers, downers, tranquilizers. Do you know? Oh yeah, yeah. So you're not supposed to know, I guess, but the Arabs, particularly from like say Turkey around down into northern North Africa and that, they're yeah, they get wasted. They have a whole cacophony, a whole cornucopia of items and drugs and things they get wasted on. Cat methanol and all these others. Yeah, they get toasted on all sorts of things. This is normal. It's normal there. It's sort of like, if you're up in the Laotian hills, you're going to be smoking the pipe and it's going to be weed and opium. Yeah, that's normal. More opium than weed, but yeah, normal, right? And that's the only way you're ever going to get in with these people. It's just part of their day to day. Okay, okay. So you have these rape gangs, right? And that's what they are, really. They're not grooming gangs. They're raping gangs. They're men my age and down to like say 18, 20, right? Who are running around picking up girls between it seems like 11 and 15ish and having their way with them. That's fucking rape. Now come on now. I mean, has the convict got to be the one to tell it the way it is? This isn't groom. I mean, who come up with this PC like sterilized word? You know? Okay, let's call it what it is. It's gang rape. All right? And these are, the drugged up version models of their population. Almost always it's going to be that way. Okay? Because again, if you were successful, right? And you lived in Algeria, let's just say, right? You were successful, right? You personally, let's just say you're one of these people. Put yourself in their place, right? So, you're Habib, you run the kebab shop, in some city in Algiers, right? You're fairly successful at it. Would you come here if you didn't have to? No. But if you're the street dreg, Ahmed, who's, a drug addict and ashamed of the family and all that, yeah. We get a lot of the shame ones, you know what I'm trying to say? Right. Right. I mean, you're not supposed to really point this out, but yeah, And with the Africans, they have a real simple view of the universe, right? Now they're nominally Muslim. These hordes that have poured in from sort of south of the desert, basically, into Germany, but they're not really Muslims. They're animists. They believe in spooks and spirits and jinns and demons and possession and all that sort of thing. Yeah, and magic and sorcery and oh yeah, oh for sure, yeah. Now oh, and so do these Pakis. Okay, I mean, my sense is that this rape thing could have been stopped by the security services if the security services would have fed them hallucinogenic drugs and started feeding their head full of weird stuff about ghosts and possessions and jinns and okay, they believe in all that. I know when I'm saying this to you, you're thinking, oh yeah, it's just simple. No, look, we're not getting the best and brightest. We're not getting the nuclear scientists from Pakistan here in the West. Not in America, not in Canada, not in the UK, not anywhere where Pakistanis or Lebanese are we getting the nuclear scientists, the mathematicians, or the future great leaders of the world. Okay? We're getting the inner city and rural dregs. The criminal class. It's kind of like Castro dropping off its criminals, but this is the world. Here, have your criminals. We're going to call them refugees. You have to take care of them. Great. Okay? So, I mean, I almost guarantee that every one of these grooming gangs is also a gun running operation, a drug running operation, a money laundering operation, and so forth, right? So why haven't the police teed off on these people? Why haven't the police used all of this police power that they have in Europe, a lot more than America? I mean, the police in Europe can just spy on you casually. So why do they just allow this sort of criminality amongst these Muslims? And let's not bullshit ourselves, okay? We can get out the population density maps and the crime maps and overlap them if need be, or we can not. Either way, I don't have to shame anybody to prove my point. The point is any way you want to cut it. The crime rate amongst these people, even the non-rape crime rate, if we just set aside the grooming gangs for a minute, if we just go to, domestic violence, assault, theft, property damage, I can go with a few more, right? It's immensely higher. Okay? I mean, I'm saintly compared to some of these people. Yeah. That's pretty something, actually. I take some work, but there it is. I think I would have to just draw the line right at, let's go get loaded up and go and seduce some girl so we can have no, let's just not do that and say we didn't do that. And I don't know, I think people wouldn't talk to me about that too many times. That wouldn't be the kind of thing that I would be inclined to want to hear about or speak about. No, I like to do what I call counterintelligence work. That is, find the rat, find the snitch, find the police informant. You know what I mean? Yeah, that other lowly shit's for proles. You see, right? But I do understand precisely how these gangs that these Muslims run in would operate. Gangs are kind of the same all over the world. And the fact is that in the Muslim world they get high. I mean, do you think that these Lebanese just know how to grow weed and make hash just out of thin air? No, they've been getting loaded for Well, the first time I know it was outlawed was like 1215, you know? And they were getting loaded before that. Roman soldiers got toasted on hash in the same area. Probably same street. Okay? Macedonia, been growing weed there a long time. Romans grew weed there industrially. That's right. The army used it. Yeah, it's an effective medicine for a lot of things like broken bones, you know, um, just these sorts of things, you know. Anything that the doctors didn't want to get somebody, because they understood that opium would make you dependent, you know. Weed was like the go-to before that. If that would do it, that's what they used. They had a couple others too, other more mild ones, the painkillers, you know. Yeah, right. But again, Lebanon, weed, the poppies up there in the Anatolian highlands. Do you think those gangsters just put those there and you know? I mean, it isn't quite like Mexico where you know the people there never had contact with poppies. Those poppies in the Mexican highlands and Mexican farmlands there, those are put there by the cartels, you know. But up there in like say Afghanistan and that whole arc from somewhere way off into Chinese Turkestan there, and across down into Turkey, you know. Those people have been growing poppies for time immemorial, right? This isn't new. They didn't maybe grow it on this scale, but yeah, they've been growing poppies for a long time. They have it down pat. You know, pot too. They have it down pat. You know, what can I say? Right? The crazy things that you know, right? But these things. See, this is how I know that these Muslims from these areas, their cultures involve smoking what they call hash pipes, or tobacco pipes. But there's hash in there. There's opium in there. Sometimes they have these like flavored resins in there. You know, come on now. Every now and again it may be tobacco, but no. In most cases they're getting toasted, and then the tobacco is kind of a cover for that. You know, right? I mean that's just what's happening. I don't know what to say. Right? Yeah. I mean they get wasted a lot, and so what we effectively have here are drugged up zombie orcs, we'll call them orcs, roaming the streets of western cities, pillaging and raping. I mean, you know, because I promise you that these gangs in the UK and France has to have this problem. So would Sweden by now. They're just covering, I think. Germany maybe too. Because it does seem there's a lot of rape being reported. You know, is anybody just me, or does anybody feel that I'm, being weird about that? So, you know, it just seems that, and this is just my take on this, is that the authorities want this to happen. Yeah, they're being paid to turn an eye. Drug money is being used to buy their eyesight. That's my take on it, right? Because that would allow these men the police protection needed to do this kind of horrendous shit with impunity like they're doing, right? Because almost none of them go to jail. Almost none of them go to jail. And this newest scandal, it's like what scandal, Telford. I don't like to get the names wrong, but I think it is Telford or Telford, right? It doesn't matter. It's a whole bunch of English, Welsh, Irish, Scots, British white children who were maltreated by orc savages, who again are the lowest type, who are almost inevitably connected with the criminal class that are in the British prisons right now, stuffing it to capacity, and who are almost certainly alcoholics, and reprobates with no value. And what can you do with these kinds of people? Okay. Creative solutions. Orc removal systems. Well, it occurs to me that there's a large population of sharks that live in the sea there. What is that called? The Irish Sea, right there between Wales and Ireland. There's a strong current. Put the orcs in and allow the sharks to eat them. Bring the sharks in with the waste from industrial husbandry. That would be chicken guts and such. Chum it's called. Then the sharks will, you can harvest them if you want. Make them into chips. Orc removal systems. You see? Now, I don't know about you, but if someone told me that, one of my female relatives, some group of smelly kebab eaters had, I can't say, but it wouldn't be pleasant. And it failed or not, it wouldn't be pleasant. Do you know what I mean? Right? I don't think that I would maintain at all in this situation, right? And so my sense is that there's some kind of serious threat being held over these people, right? Sort of a secret threat that we don't know about. It's not seen by those of us outside of these areas that are like bubbles, right? Where these groomings, these mass fucking rapes, man, happen, right? Now what could that be? Bureaucrats putting leverage, local media putting leverage, local politicians putting leverage, all of the above. National police, local police acting in unison to kind of make sure this happens. One for political correct reasons and the other because they don't want to rough it up in the streets with these Muslim toughies and they'd rather just take the bribes. How about that? It seems at least kind of plausible because otherwise it's hard to explain why do these people not, do they have other children that they could lose that these state bureaucrats would take? Do they have a house that they could lose? Do they have a job they could lose? You know what I'm trying to say? What kind of leverage is being put on these people that we're not seeing, that we don't know about? It seems inexplicable to me without there being some kind of sort of silent leverage, It does. It seems very inexplicable otherwise. You can say I'm being conspiratorial, and I'm saying, well, what do you want me to say? We have a government, open government in the UK there, right? That, there's been what was the one? I don't want to get the numbers wrong. 2,000 girls, and then what was it? Another one that was like 1,200, and then there's this one that was, I don't remember the exact number for this one, but right? It's high. It's more. One's too fucking many. Okay. Right. So, pardon me. So, as soon as this last one comes out, they do the Facebook police thing to keep people from talking about it. They crack down on people talking about it rather than crack down on it happening. Now, all I can conclude from this is that on the one hand, the bigwigs want it to happen for their own ends, and the little chiefs want it to happen for their own ends too. Which ends are not the same. One pays lip service to political correctness, to be sure. But they come on, police take the knockoffs. You know what I mean? They nick the people that don't pay them off, and they let the other ones go. That's how it goes. It's just There it is, right? So what I'm saying is I mean, how deep does this rot go in these places? This Telford and Rotherham, and I can't remember the other one. I'm sorry, but you know, right? There's only just so much I guess that a person can really like want to wallow into this kind of wretchedness, you know. See, that's why I try to think of it. What sort of men would I profile? Would I analyze and track? You know, if I had the security apparatus of these Western European states to try to eliminate this threat or mitigate this threat, you know. And yeah, I would use known drug users, known criminals with a background from Islamic, Middle Eastern countries who lived in ethnically contiguous blocks of Sunna. Okay, Sunna, right? And I have a feeling that, again, by using the proper application of giving them drugs, I mean, I'm saying this openly to you, right? And playing with their mind, as well as countering, you know, getting spies, informants, and the rest into them, I could put a real dent in this. Okay, I mean, a real dent in this. And if I was given, you know, Russian Federation type police power, oh yeah, these people could be done. There could be no more threat to any girls. They could walk safely, you know, right? People could go out at night without being assaulted by savages, you know, right? It wouldn't be like some kind of, I mean, it's almost like a fairy tale in Europe now, you know where there's if you go out at night, the orcs and the pixies will get you. Well, yeah, they will now, you know, but it shouldn't be that way, right? And my sense is that there's a lot of money and a lot of politically correct civic religion delusion nonsense, you know. It's pushing it that way, and that these children are just as someone I was listening to earlier said, a sacrifice on the altar of diversity, which has been progress, which is, yeah, it's exactly what they are, you know. But I mean, who's paying for the sacrifice? What I'm saying is, how much are these people paying to who? You know what I mean? And what other pressure is coming down, if any other? And I can't understand why these parents would just, unless there was other pressure coming down, like from their employment, their health care perhaps, so forth and so on, you know what I mean? All right? You know, I mean, let's look at what the UK has been willing to do to get its way over the years to its internal political opposition. I mean, they just convicted a man of his pug being the leader of the Fourth Reich, you know? His pug. Jesus. Damn nonsense. You know? And I mean, yeah, right. I mean, you heard just how daft that is, yes. Oh, the pug was going to lead them all into gassing the Jews. Yeah, only a fool, only a child could believe that, and yet they put a man in jail for this. Okay? Britain first. Their leaders, the party leader and the deputy leader, Paul Golding and Jada Franson, I think is their name. Anyhow, well, they were jailed essentially for saying things that, as far as I can determine, are 100% factual and true. They're offensive, perhaps, to certain people who wouldn't like these true things said about what they do, but they're still factual and true, you know? And notice I'm being about the offensive thing. They don't offend me in the least, but, you know. But, I mean, I do imagine if I was doing this sort of nefarious things, and these people were to say, this spy is doing these nefarious things, I would be offended too, you know, right? So, I mean, they've been jailed over this and so forth, you know. Now, meanwhile, serious offenders who beat people, rob people, steal people's things, break houses, steal cars, you know, vandalize and the rest, run free. That's the status of things well, actually pretty much America too is like this, right? Though we don't have the thought police thing as bad quite yet, but we do have all the crime to make up for it, you know? And I'm not too sure about Canada, but I, again, I don't believe those Canadian crime statistics, right? No, wrong. Just no way. I believe the ones from Vancouver. The Chinese are fairly orderly, even in the urban area, but from the more diverse cities, Ontario and such, no. Get real. Caribbean blacks are a little more spicy, a little more full live action, you know? Right? I mean, how that can be portrayed by anybody as some kind of benefit that you should, boom, 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 who knows? But here's the key thing, is that once uh, all these other ethnic groups see, oh yeah, hey, you can just tee off on the British and even have it their children. Heaps of trouble is the thing that comes to mind. It'll be unpleasant in a big way for sure. Yeah, right. And my sense is it's best to head that off. Now, I mean, it's kind of weird that they want to ignore this and go to more Russia, Russia, more Russia, more Russia. They want to ignore that in effect Britain is instituting, well, blasphemy laws. Yeah, right. I mean, blasphemy laws where it's, you can't go against Islam. Wow, it's pretty nutty, right? And and they're gonna call it racism to be against Islam, which is kind of not really accurate. In a way, it is. I mean, there is sort of a core people to which Islam applies, and they are sort of a brown melange people, right? Yeah, but there are converts from everything, so it isn't strictly a race, and it's. I mean, the fact is this. Look. Find me an Anglo country that has a lower standard of living than one of the Arab countries. Go ahead. I'll wait. There isn't one. Okay? Now, there are people in poverty in the Anglo countries, there's no doubt. I'm not going to make fun of that, and that's true, People who really struggle, who, are at the bottom end, and then like the super working poor nobody's making light of where they're at. Okay, so let's just understand that. However, nobody is as poor as these wretched peasants who live in these slums in these second and third world countries. It's just not. Nobody in any of the Anglo countries or even in Europe is that poor. Even, and I know this is going to sound like hyperbole, but I think it's probably the truth if we actually broke out with the numbers. Even the bums living in the cardboard shanties, that are popping up all over Western Europe now, live better than the people in these slums in their home countries. There it is. Now, that's what we're dealing with here. Now, this is a radical way to deal with this, but two-pronged approach. One, you got to round them all up and they got to go. Okay? But two, invest money in their home so they can have some kind of prosperity and job there so they stay in their fucking home. That would involve putting an end to the ISIS head choppers, which would mean that the Anglo-American alliance needs to stop giving these goddamn people and their communist fucking allies weapons. Yeah, those Kurds are commies, man. They're Marxist-Leninists, dude. Okay? I mean, yeah, those are our Marxist-Leninist allies, dude. Oh, yeah. No, that's cute. And again, if you speak English natively, you're tied to the same mast as my country, You're going our way, man. I don't like it, you don't like it, nobody's gotta like it, but, right? There it is. And the fact of the matter sits is that these Kurds, who, you know, the empire has just put tons of money and support into, are communists, real communists, not kind of communists. They're Marxist-Leninists who believe in a weird, ultra-democratic. It wouldn't. It will implode. It'll implode into the same one-party rule that every communist country ever does.